Welcome back, everyone. I first would just like to thank each and every person that is still here, that is still supporting, despite the fact that this channel has gone in a new direction, a more important direction, a more necessary direction, and we are having the conversations that need to be had. That is the issue of predatory behaviors and sexual abuse that is being committed against children. Now, this is something that's affecting far more families than we're comfortable admitting. This is not a rare issue. This is not an isolated issue. And it's not something that only happens to other people. Predatory behavior is happening every single day in families, in schools, communities, and trusted institutions. Most parents, including myself, were not taught how to recognize this, how to prevent this, and how to protect our children. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how do we actually keep our children safe? Gone are the days of stranger danger, or was that ever really even a thing? Is that just propaganda that was pushed upon us? Because what I've come to realize and what I see in the research is the danger is typically not from strangers. The dangers are from people that we know, people that we trust, people that we even love, and people that we would never, ever in a million years suspect of being capable of such disgusting behaviors. If you think that child predation is rare, it's because you were taught to think that. I don't know if it was designed for people to let their guards down. I don't know if this propaganda has been pushed for easier access to our children to disarm us. I'm not completely sure, but we need to begin educating ourselves on how we can combat this issue that is so common, more common than people care to talk about. And typically it's because you will be shamed for talking about this. You will be ostracized for talking about this. You most likely will not be believed for talking about this. We need to change the stigma when it comes to people feeling comfortable reporting these issues, addressing these issues, preventing these issues, because we cannot just continue to sweep these things under the rug and think that the next generation is going to be safe, because right now you aren't even safe. So one of the reasons that child predation continues at the scale it does is because it's deeply misunderstood. We're taught to look for monsters, but predatory people do not look dangerous. They look normal, they look helpful, they seem kind and caring and supportive and nurturing. They don't drive a mysterious white van. They typically don't look suspicious. They typically don't look like the idea of what a predator should look like in our minds. They look very normal, and they're masters at creating this false perception so that they can fool you and get closer to what is most precious to you and take advantage of your trust. Most abuse does not come from strange people. And when we continue to spin this narrative of stranger danger, we are inadvertently teaching children that just because someone is known that they are to be trusted, just because someone is known, they are safe. And in reality, it's the exact opposite. So let's talk about how this happens. Grooming is the start of how these behaviors occur, how these behaviors escalate, and how the predator shapes the environment to suit their own agenda. It's not right away that this person is going to immediately assault the child. It first starts with establishing trust. Grooming is a process, not an event. And before the predator is even grooming the child, they are first grooming the parent. They're testing to see, will the parent say anything? Will the parent stick up for the child? How much can I get away with? Will they notice that what I'm doing is wrong? Will they see my hand go from here to there? Will they allow me unsupervised access with their child? Will they trust me to babysit? Will they trust me to take on trusted caregiving responsibilities so that I can further worm my way into this child's life and isolate them enough to carry out their agenda. So the violation of boundaries do not start big, they start small. The more that we can recognize how and when boundaries are being violated, the better chance we have at protecting our children. So some instances of boundary violation can be ignoring a child saying no. If someone tries to hug a child and they say no, but that person still grabs the child and hugs them anyways, that is boundary violation. If a person wants to kiss the child and the child is turning away, trying to get away, but that person forces the child to stay still so that they can kiss the child, that is boundary violation. Forcing of affection is a huge red flag and something to be aware of. We should not be teaching our children that they have to comply just because it's an adult, that they have to comply just because it is a family member, that they have to comply just because it is a teacher, that they have to comply just because it is a coach. No. Power imbalances, teaching children that just because they are a child and this is an adult is one of the worst things that we can teach our children, because in that we are teaching them that you have no power. And what we want to do is empower them to use their voice, empower them to say no, no, I don't want to kiss, no, I don't want to hug, no, I don't want to go here or there with you. And unfortunately, because predatory people can put on a good front, they can seem like the ultimate playmate to the child. They can seem like the ultimate fun person to the child at first. The child is not always right away uncomfortable with the person. Sometimes the child embraces the person because that person is framing themselves as a fun, funny, playful, and charismatic, caring, nurturing individual. And that's the point. We already discussed tickling in the last video. If someone is tickling your child every time they see them all the time, this is going on time and time again, there is most likely some other form of gratification that this person is getting from putting their hands on your child. It's not just because they want your child to laugh all the time. That's not why. It's because they are slowly eroding and violating your child's boundaries and disarming you from thinking that they are someone dangerous simply because your child is laughing. Another grooming tactic is special treatment. If someone is singling out a specific child in the environment, they may be giving them extra compliments. They may be saying that this child is mature for their age. They may be giving gifts. They may be asking to take this specific child to a certain place. I don't want to discount the fact that some predators, when they have access to multiple children, they will abuse all of the children that they can get away with abusing. I do not want to discount that fact. But there are many instances of predators, pedophiles, choosing a specific target. And this is very isolating because if there's multiple children in the environment and only one child is experiencing these things, it's so much easier for that child to not be believed because no other child in the vicinity is experiencing these things. No other child in the vicinity is reporting these things. No other child in the vicinity is being made to feel uncomfortable. So that just doesn't make sense. That's how we rationalize it. But in reality, it does make sense because these behaviors depend on secrecy and they're going to mold the environment to best hide what they're doing. And if everybody's not reporting the same thing, then it's so much easier for that child's reporting to be dismissed. Another way that we can keep our children safe is not teaching our children to be polite over standing up for themselves, to not be polite over guarding their bodies, teaching our children to not be polite over saying no. Children are too often being taught to be polite at the expense of their own discomfort. And predators know this. They weaponize this. Children need to know that their body belongs to them and them alone. It doesn't belong to mommy. It doesn't belong to daddy. It doesn't belong to grandma, grandpa. It doesn't belong to anybody but themselves. And it is okay to say no. I even ask for permission to give my children a hug. I even ask for permission to give my children a kiss because I want them to understand that this is a choice. Physical affection, physical touch is a choice. It is not a requirement. Now, what I do understand is that these predators understand that the younger a child is, the less a child understands, that the more vulnerable a child is, maybe if they have special needs, the easier it is to break down those boundaries and to violate them. And if they know that, then what we as safe adults need to understand, if they are using age for their own benefit, then we need to be using age as a form of protection. These teachings have to start right away. Can mommy give you a kiss? Can mommy give you a hug? Teaching this child that my body is to be respected, that my body does not belong to anybody and nobody else has the permission to touch me unless I say so. Teaching our children this from a very young age is going to be so powerful and prevent them from being susceptible to these grooming behaviors. If they know that even mommy and daddy, or even auntie and uncle, even grandma and grandpa ask for permission before they touch me, then obviously anybody in the vicinity has to do so. When we are giving our children the impression that just because they are children, they have no say-so, this is setting them up for someone to step in their life and say the exact same thing. You have no say-so. I'm the adult. What I say is right. What I say to do, you do. If I say this is a secret, it's a secret. That mindset makes it so much easier for another person to come in and violate your child's boundaries, violate your boundaries. One of the first things that we have to be teaching our children to keep them safe is that secrecy is not an option. If someone is telling you to keep a secret, something's wrong. If someone is telling you not to tell, something's wrong. Silence enables them to continue to act. Predators rely on silence, and protection grows where truth is allowed, emphasizing to our children that they will not get in trouble for telling. They will not get in trouble for speaking the truth. And unfortunately, the child are typically manipulated into not speaking. They may be told, oh, this is just between me and you. This is our little secret. No one else will understand. Mommy won't understand. I'll buy you this toy if you don't tell. I'll take you here and there if you don't tell. If you tell, I will hurt your siblings. If you tell, I will hurt your mother. If you tell, I will hurt whoever. If you tell, I will take this toy you like. If you tell, I will not give you this candy that you like. They are manipulating the child in so many different ways to scare them into silence. And what we have to do as safe adults, as safe parents, is teaching our children that there will be no repercussion for speaking truth. We do not keep secrets that make us feel scared. We do not keep secrets that make us feel ashamed. We do not keep secrets that make us feel uncomfortable. And initially, a lot of children do not disclose what is going on verbally. They disclose it through behavior. And that could be sexualized, inappropriate behaviors. That can be regression. That can be aggression. That could be saying things that they are too young to know about, or repeating behaviors that you know that you yourself have not exposed them to. Now, before we close out, I do want to recommend a book, and that is Keeping Kids Safe by Gloria Masters. If you do not know who Gloria Masters is, she is a beautiful, intelligent, inspiring woman and activist who has shared her story here on YouTube. And I applaud her courage for speaking out the things that she's been through, for advocating for children, for making the community aware that this happens, even from parents. So yes, if you are dedicated to keeping your children, other children, any children safe, then please read up. Please do your research. Please share your story in the comments. You all don't know how powerful even a comment can be in helping someone to understand that they're not alone, and helping someone to understand that there's others who stand with you, helping others to understand that there is someone that will believe you. There is someone who has been through what you've been through, and it's going to be okay. So if you are one of the lovely people who is still here supporting, who's still watching, please like this video. Please leave a comment. Please put any and everything that you can to help whoever may be watching in the comments, so that we can continue to grow, we can become more educated, and that we can be more effective in preventing these sick people and protecting our children. So thank you, and I will see you soon.